Abu Bakar Darba, presented by the Lieutenant Colonel. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. I also appreciate the Prof that is here and all other distinguished guests and colleagues, because we are colleagues and analysts as well, and it's a pleasure to be here. So I'll read the chairman's speech, and of course I'll add that of my own end. It is a great pleasure to be part of this annual conference of the forensic professionals who have been contributing immensely to the upholding of evidence critical to the effective delivery of justice in Nigeria. Forensic science, which is the field of gathering evidence, is a broad field utilizing numerous practices such as the analysis of DNA, fingerprints, blood stain patterns, firearms and ballistics, toxicology, cyber crimes, drug analysis, arson, etc. We are also faced with the responsibility of providing a timely, scientific, and professional investigation and prosecution of criminal cases to stakeholders. This is quite challenging, but I've noticed over the years that forensic science has greatly improved in Nigeria, as forensic analysts have become more conscious of their roles and responsibilities to collect, preserve, and analyze scientific evidence during an investigation, which are very vital to the admissibility of evidence in criminal procedures, and this has greatly improved the judicial process. In Nigeria today, like the NDLEA, there's been an increase in development of the forensic, and that is true. When the chairman came in, he has put in place, we had more labs. We had just one lab in Lagos, but now we are expanding to 2, one in the east and one in Abuja. Very soon they'll be commissioned. So that's another development for the future in forensic. So I see a large development with government agencies upgrading their facilities with state-of-the-art technology, and the proliferation of private independent laboratories has shown that the future is very bright for forensic investigation. Forensic professionals must remain tenacious and show dexterity in forensic education of the actual commission of a crime, particularly in the areas of ballistics, DNA, arson, drug identification, profiling, fraud, and cyber security. As forensic professionals, they need to enhance our scientific methodologies to catch up with the increasing breaches at crime scene and destruction of evidence necessary for proper investigation, which are crucial for the commission or assessment of a crime. Of course, in the NDLEA, we have issues where we need to clamp down on clandestine laboratories because a lot of these substances that we find in the streets, they are synthesized in-house. So you find out that chemicals come in, people just mix chemicals together to produce some of these drugs. So of course, the analysts, particularly in my own unit, will find a way to bridge that gap, come in before those substances are being produced. So we have to follow up the synthetic processes of drugs. So of course, before the commission of a crime and afterward, the analyst is very key in breaching any process. The emergence of forensic science practice spreading to various other fields with notable expertise tells us that this field of practice is still set for greater achievements and breakthroughs. Recently, in the NDLEA, we collaborate with the United Nations, that UNODC, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. And internationally, there's the standardization of laboratories and forensic experts. So what they do is that there's a program called the International Collaborative Exercise all over the world, where accredited laboratories must pass those tests sent by the United Nations. So for the NDLEA lab, we are able to partake in some of these exercises, and of course the NDLEA it has been given that statutory pass as a standard drug lab in Nigeria. So we find out that evidence-based approaches should be enhanced and harmonized so that we do not jeopardize the integrity and fidelity of our investigations. Evidence-based is key because when you talk of forensic results, like the chairman said, they need to be pairing. So when we do tests in Nigeria, at times, of course, we collaborate with the DEA and other law enforcement agencies. So we also carry out systematic pairing of our results, profiling and characterization of drug exhibits. Particularly in NDLEA, we do more of physical evidence, solid structure, solid substances, and also liquid substances. So evidence approaches should be enhanced and harmonized so that we do not jeopardize the integrity and fidelity of our investigations and results. The results in the NDLEA, like in the past year, we have been able to analyze over 5,000 cases of drug exhibits, both within and outside. Like the Lieutenant Colonel said, we collaborate with other agencies, with the police, with the military, with NAFDAC, with so many other agencies, so that we can give them early warning alerts, so that they can know the trends of drugs, because a lot of non-scheduled drugs, non-scheduled substances flying everywhere. So some in the lab, what we do is to analyze and also give warnings of some of these substances coming out, and also to quantify. So that's part of what we do. So in the area of creating more awareness, that's what we do to sensitize people, talk to stakeholders about some of these substances. Another thing that I want to say about the NDLEA drug lab is that substances come from different places, but most times we get it from the officers, from our own commands. So that's why collaborating with the private business owners is a little bit difficult. But then we still relate, because they must just pass through the normal processes of sending their reports, and they must be genuine so that we know where it's coming from, so that we can assess them and also give the necessary reports. Because if you go to the federal high courts today, the highest cases we have in courts are drug cases. And that shows that our results are very, very tenable in courts, because constantly we must appear as witnesses during the prosecution of our cases. And that shows that even with the forensic, the law is getting more aware that they need to fill that bridge, because when you talk of forensic science, we are in between. We are there to help the courts to make the necessary judgment so that they can easily, prosecute such cases. So the chairman is saying that I wish you fruitful deliberations in this conference, and hope to see the forensic professionals stepping up and raising the bar of an efficient and effective justice system in combating crime in Nigeria. Thank you for listening. Thank you.